And welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pollock, your host. In this segment, it's dedicated to something that I have very much of a fondness in my heart. It's something called Mars Fest that'll be happening in Death Valley this March, the weekend of March 28th, 29th, and 30th. Let me read you a little bit more from a prepared statement that they had. What the goal is. The goal of Mars Fest is to elevate public awareness about planetary research taking place on Earth and its associated missions in space, such as the Mars Science Laboratory and upcoming missions. Death Valley National Park has several planetary research sites within its boundaries, and it is excited to share this little known but extremely important use of our public land. The SETI Institute, these are people that are involved with it, the SETI Institute, NASA Ames, NASA Goddard, JPL, which is Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and the National Park Service are proud to collaborate again this year. They've had this twice before, to bring scientists, the public, and national park enthusiasts together to explore the fascinating research being done in this field. A key component is the NASA's Mars Science Laboratory, Curiosity rover mission team, represented by Sample Analysis of Mars, SAM, this education and public outreach team that they have. And we would like to introduce to you today Rosalba Bonacorsi, who is a scientist, and she's attached to the Carl Sagan Center of the SETI Institute. So it's my pleasure to have Rosalba with us today, and she's going to be telling us about what she does and giving us a lot of information on this Mars Festival, which I missed the first two ones, and I apologize for that. And please tell us a little bit more about it, would you please?
Yes. So thank you, John, for having invited me here, and hello, everybody. Mars Fest, the first ever Mars Fest born in 2012. Mm-hmm. It was a dream. It's a shared dream between Stephanie Kyriazis. She's an enthusiast park ranger, an interpretive ranger.
Where was she from, though?
She's from the United States, and now she is no longer working in that valley, but she moved to the Arcadia National Park.
Wow, okay.
But she was one of the co-founders of Mars Fest. We decided we wanted to do something with the park to share science done in the park, connected to the park, but also connected to space, to our planetary environment, to our solar system, in particular to Mars, because that valley has so many features that are shared with that red planet. So she and I sat together one day, as you and I are sitting here, and we said, oh, we have a dream, how about an entire Mars festival in that valley? Mm-hmm. And we would like having an expo, showing people what, university and NASA and JPL do in this field, and giving people outputs and, bringing the analogs, that means Mars-like environments similar to other planets, to the public. And at the same time, people will come here to enjoy that valley and look at that valley under a different aspect than done before. And also that valley is a very famous place and also the Mojave Desert, by the way, among planetary scientists, because of so many features that scientists have been coming here for many, many years to test instruments and concepts that has been useful for developing real missions, like the Viking in the 1977 and 78.
Right, and that's just down the road here.
It's down the road here, and that's why the valley. So we had this dream, and we made it happen. And year after year, on a shoestring budget, actually no budget this year, we have been keeping going to propose this festival. Stephanie moved to
Arcadia.
To Arcadia. And last year was Amy Tickpenny that helped out and designed the beautiful logo that you were about to show.
Okay.
She moved to another occupation, and this year I'm working with Terry Baldino, the Chief of Education.
Well, Terry's been there for a while.
And,
yes,
and he's been very, very enthusiastic, and we kept Mars Fest alive. And then we hope that everybody could come there.
And hopefully it'll grow. So we're going to be looking at some pictures here that we were able to download. Let's look at this one. This is one of the logos for Mars Fest.
Yeah, this is the new flyer, has been redesigned by Lee, that's from the SETI Institute, and is director of the web designing, and has been redone from the last year one, and is very, very catchy and flashy in terms of colorful, and that's thanks to the SETI Institute for the time in design that.
And which one is this?
This is the Mars Fest logo for the 2013.
Oh, those last years?
Yeah, this is last year. Let's say Mars Fest, a beginning born as Mars and Mojave Festival. And then it changed into Mars Fest. And this logo is really, really, it's one of my favorite.
I like that one. That would be good for a patch for your arm or something, yeah.
Yeah, this was Amy Tickpenny that who designed that, for her credit.
Let's look at some of the pictures of what it looks like in Death Valley. So what is this a picture of here?
Well, this is the UBEB crater in. It's one of my favorite sites because I'm studying that. Well, every scientist has a favorite site. So, but I'm giving here a lecture during the first ever Mars and Mojave Festival. So Stephanie is the park ranger that you could see there.
Okay.
And I'm explaining the natural history of the UBEB, how the UBEB came to, alive in the beautiful crater terrain, why is it important for our planet, and why it's interesting with regard Mars.
Okay, let's look at the next one, see what we come up with then. And this was a logo?
I think this was the opening page that we like it so much. It's been, co-designed among different scientists. The park did part of it, the SETI Institute.
And that's the rover on the right?
That is the Curiosity. Actually, no, that is the Mars Exploration Rover. It's not the Curiosity rover because you can see solar panels on that. The Curiosity rover is a much bigger rover, but it was the idea of having a rover there.
Okay. So that was, I pulled that off because there was the logos were great, and the picture of the rover.
You like
there.
it?
Yeah, I like that one, yes.
Okay, that's the logos or the participating organizing committee. One is the Death Valley National Park that is hosting the event. That is the SETI Institute, NASA Meatball, and the Mars Science Laboratory logo.
Okay, we'll go to the next picture. And this
is another little crater belonging to the UBEB volcanic field. There's one on numerous no-name craters. So
this is a crater for what happened to this? Was it a asteroid or was it volcanic?
It was a volcanic.
Volcanic.
It was a volcanic explosion, a steam explosion that happened. Let's say in an elapsed time between 800s and 6,000 years ago. There are several interpretations about the age. This is one of favorite features. The UBEB volcanic field is very interesting because it also have interesting story. Scientists, volcanologists, are still trying to figure out when that happened, whether it's dormant or extinct. So it's kind of stay tuned about that.
Right. Okay. What do we have next? I'm afraid I know what's next.
Oh.
Let's see the next one. This is my connection with the Mars Fest. I portrayed the Mars ambassador on the right in a parade down in Key West many years ago. So this is my connection to it. Years ago, I think I mentioned before the show that during Mars attacks, they said the Martians landed in Pahrump, even though they didn't videotape it here. So I'm sorry for interjecting that, but I just had to put it in there. So let's go to something else.
Actually, I do really love it because it's one of my favorite movies.
Okay, great.
So.
All right, I think there's one more.
It's still another year. It was last year. We usually gather with people. This is going to happen also during the Mars Fest this year on Sunday morning. We call Lunch at the Crater, and I will start being there waiting for people 10 a.m. till noon roughly, and will be the last day of Mars
Okay,
Fest.
so if people are coming there, where would they come to begin the process? They go to the visitor center? Or?
Well, they don't need to go to the visitor center. They just can show up at the Crater Inn park lot, and I will be there. And everybody's encouraged to carpool if possible.
Okay. If they go to the visitor center, I'm sure that the park ranger can tell them where to go.
Yes.
In a nice way.
Yes. The direction. Yeah.
The directions.
Yeah.
Yes.
How to get to the UBBs, the farthest away site.
Right.
Is the mountain.
And you'll be able to find that online by typing in Mars Fest 2014. More information will be gleaned from that site. Was there one more picture? Let's go to that one. Let's see the most important one. There you are.
Porna?
Yes.
Okay, this picture has been taken, I think, by Robert Fulton. That's the manager of the Zzyzx Desert Reserve Station.
That's right. Yes. So I've never been there, but you've been to the Zzyzx?
Oh, I'm going to write to Zzyzx.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
yeah, I've been to Zzyzx because Zzyzx, let's say, housed, the Mojave hosts a lot of Mars analogs. So by traditions, scientists from ASAIMS have been going to Zzyzx to celebrate, let's say, to have a classes with science and teachers working together. And something have been starting 2006 and is still ongoing. So that's the Mojave.
Many of my friends from Tecopa have gone out there. I have not gone out there yet. It has some very interesting history how it came about. So you could, if you know how to spell Zzyzx, you go online to find out more about it. But so you'll be going there.
I will be going because this year there is another edition of NASA Spacebound, as more associated with the CSU Pomona, Cal Poly. So I will be there.
Right. Okay, great. So this is happening on 28th, 29th, and 30th. We're in the last minute of March at Death Valley National Park. And Rosalba will be there, plus other scientists from NASA, Ames, the Carl Sagan Center, SETI Institute, and the park rangers, the park personnel, other folks from the valley here hopefully will make it over there to learn a little bit about exploration, why they're in Death Valley National Park, because there's so many interesting aspects of that may lend us to know what Mars may look like.
Yes,
also.
And I also wanted to point out that this will be, an event good for everybody. It will be also family oriented. So just yesterday I had a telecon with Andrea Jones. Andrea works as a EPO, personal education specialist from the team.
And then we'll save the rest of it for another segment.
Yes.
So thank you, Rosalba, and we'll see you next week.
Yes.